Hey, welcome to the Art Condition Podcast, a weekly show that will discuss the business, community, and often undiscussed stress and mental health concerns of being a professional artist, or even a serious hobbyist. I'm Joby. I've been in the tattoo and illustration professions for 25 years. My co-host is Moose, a data analyst, social media manager, and art agent. If you enjoy the content, please consider visiting the Patreon page in the show notes to help support the effort. Or if that's not an option, please like, subscribe, leave a good review, or just share with your friends. And definitely go visit the links of our guests on this episode. Thanks for listening, and have a great day. This week we are talking to Dave Cave. One of the first things you will notice about Dave's presence online is his massive IG following. By now, we are all familiar with what a hassle it can be to grow a following on social media, and some of us even find it to be a soul-killing task. What's most interesting about Dave's presence in social media isn't so much how large his audience has grown on Instagram, although that is impressive, but more so what's interesting is how relaxed he is about it. Dave has almost no pretense about his success on the platform. He will admit that it was a lot of hard work, but it was work that he enjoyed. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways from this conversation. It's fine if you want to put in the grind and the hustle of social media growth, but you have to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, then don't do it. Or if it stops being enjoyable, stop doing it. You might be thinking, well, that's easier said than done. But really, none of this is easy. It's not about what's easy. It's about what makes you happy. Dave himself isn't going to rely on Instagram forever. In fact, he's got other plans in the works as we speak. The fact is that there are other ways to find your audience and market yourself. And you'll hear about a good bit of that in this conversation, along with some social media game plans that might be useful for you as well. Let's listen. Dave, man. Dave. Welcome back, dude. Thank you so much for coming in again to talk to us.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Dave is drawing while we talk to him. That's how seriously he takes this.
This is like one of those things where you like plan it 3 weeks in advance and then you forget about it. And then 3 weeks goes by and you're like, cool, I agreed to this. So, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, never agree to anything that we ask you. Dave, tell us a little...
That's how you get me to agree to stuff, though, is like if you plan something tomorrow, I'm probably going to say no, but if it's like 3 weeks from now, that's how to get me. Sorry, I cut you off.
Before we started recording, we established the fact that you cutting us off is why we're here. The other way we try and avoid. But tell us a little bit about yourself, man. How did you get into art? And why are you still doing it?
So right now I'm a freelance artist. A lot of people know me from Instagram. I used to be a caricature artist, and in the future I hope to be like working at a studio or be something big and cool, working on Star Wars or something.
What got you into art though?
I always drew like as a kid, but like in high school, everyone was like always talking about like, what are you going to college for? Blah, blah, blah. And I had like nothing in mind, but I knew I liked to draw a lot. So I just kind of like totally leaned. I knew I didn't like English class or math or economics or whatever. So I was like, oh, I doodle a lot. So I guess I'll lean into drawing now, whatever. I'm an artist now. And from that point on. So I guess that's kind of late to, I don't know, for most people, everyone says they started like when they were a kid. I guess I kind of like really started when I was like in high school, pretty much. Like a sophomore in high school.
I mean, I know some people who quit their job after graduating college to do art, to start learning art. So
idiots. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, hold up. My push-up alarm just went off. I got to do some push-ups. I'll be right back.
Hey, as long as we can keep streaming. Did his camera freeze out? Is he for real going to do some push-ups right now?
Yeah, he's gonna for real do some push-ups. We can edit this out of the VOD. It's fine.
Sorry, I forgot about that.
Oh, I hope
Every hour.
I was hoping when you duck down that like your
Just
hair would come back like the shampoo commercial. How many push-ups did you do? That was like super fast.
Oh, I just do like 10, like just quick ass ones, like not even going all the way down. I'm getting back into the push-up game, so I go like easy.
Well, I gotta make a note to edit that part out. But when you said you started drawing in high school, like what drew you to it though? Like, I mean, that is, well, I don't, it's not, maybe it's a late start by comparison to some people, but I mean, it's late enough in your life for you to like start getting some like real self-awareness, you know, as far as like what you do and don't like. Whereas when you're a little kid, you're just like, oh, I'm drawing because drawing, whatever. But that's like a conscious decision when you're in high school. Like what instigated that?
I don't know. See, no, I'm just kidding. I was like in I think it was like a mixed media art class that you just like have to take, and we had to design a mask, and I like traced like a picture of Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII. I was like, I drew this. This is my mask design, and everybody liked it. So, I mean, that I was like, oh, cool, people like it. I don't know. And then I just wanted people to like stuff I make, basically. So Instagram.
Yes, the ever enduring.
I don't know. I don't know. You know, in high school, when you're kind of like, it's kind of like the Wild West, and you're just trying to like figure out what you even are in this world, and then like people start like talking to you because you just scribbled something on a piece of paper. Like that was pretty cool. So I think that's definitely what like kicked it off. Also, I didn't like anything else. So.
And you didn't go to college, or you didn't go to art school or anything like that? So it's just kind of always been like self-directed learning?
Oh, I mean, I went to, like, right out of high school, I went to Laguna College of Art and Design for like a semester. And it was a far drive. I was driving there like every day from San Diego. It was like a 2-hour or an hour drive sometimes, 2 hours on like busy days. And I didn't really like that school. I know it's like a good school, but I kind of like, I was a pretty cocky dude. I'm definitely not that now, but I just felt like I was better than everybody, and there was no one there really like pushing me. Like even the teachers were like, I mean, they're good, but they're not doing like what I want to do. So I stopped going there, and I went to community college for like 2 years after that. And there were actually like really good like art teachers at Palomar College, the college I went to. And they had taught that, like most of them had previously taught at a place called Art Center in Pasadena, which is where I eventually ended up going, which cost a lot of money. But they all convinced me to go there, and it ended up being like a good thing. I mean, despite the huge tuition cost.
I've noticed something. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say like that like question, like, are you self-taught, or like where did you go to art school? It's like yeah, I went to art school, but I kind of just like, it was always like a self-taught thing, like from high school, and I was kind of always doing my own thing like throughout all those art school classes. I would just kind of like cherry pick the things I liked, and so I don't know, it's like half and half, self-taught and art school.
No, that's a really
like
interesting.
Huge asterisk. Everything I'm doing now on like Instagram is like self-taught, other than like the figure drawing stuff. Sorry.
It's actually a really interesting point. That idea of, you know, self-guided. In a sense, like all education is self-guided, because like no one's holding a gun to your head even to go to college. You know, like no one's making you show up for class or making you do the assignments. And like you said, you were kind of cherry picking. But I don't know, if we're being honest with ourselves, like all educational experience is kind of cherry picking. It's not like you are going to take every single thing from every professor or teacher that's ever talked to you, and you have to incorporate it and synthesize it in your own way at some point anyway, right? This is, I don't know, this is a tangent, but it's kind of blowing my mind.
Well,
I like this new way of thinking about education.
I mean, there are like certain like occupations, like plumbing, like you have to learn like certain, like what certain tools do and stuff like that. With art though, it's super, like, it's like teaching someone how to run fast. It's like, you can tell someone like, you just run faster, but like it's not gonna like make you faster, you know? So it's like usually like something you have to, you know, do yourself. You have to put in the work yourself. It's like repetition, all the stuff I could say about it. Yeah.
No, that's fair. Maybe that only applies to art or creative endeavors, let's say. I was just gonna ask Moose. I was just gonna ask, hey Moose, what were you gonna say? He's back already.
Yes.
All right.
Point of order. Looks like the stream went down for a little while, then it came back. Not sure what was going on.
Oh no.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. It never interrupted on my end, so.
I mean, it was a black screen though, so I'm not sure if you were doing something alt-tabbed or something, Joby, or not. But yeah, just edit this out of the final version, because, you know, we're saying the words, edit this out of the final version. Let's see if we actually edit it out of the final version.
Okay.
Right?
Your guys' internet sucks.
You were going to say something before, Moose?
So I've noticed that when it comes to people coming out of college, whether it's a brand name one or a community college, that they're often underprepared to get jobs immediately after college. Was that your experience as well, or were you able to start finding work right out the bat?
Well, I was already a caricature artist at like live theme parks, so I kind of just kept doing that for like 7 more years after college. I don't think I was very prepared, not because of the school, it's just because I had no idea what I wanted to. I like, my major was like illustration design, which has nothing to do with like the entertainment industry that I now want to go into. I didn't know that back then. So, and illustration design is basically like, they were preparing me to be a freelance illustrator for like, at the time, like they were really pushing like editorial illustrations, because that's still kind of like, it's like a big, it's like the one of the only avenues a freelance illustrator can like get into right now, I'd say. Like editorial, it's like one of the easiest, I guess. And what I'm talking about is like newspaper illustrations and like magazine stuff, which are, you know, kind of like, the magazines exist anymore. But even so, there's people are still always looking for like op-ed pieces and stuff like that. That was the type of stuff I was trained to do. And it kind of went hand in hand with like the caricature work I was doing at the time. So,
well, it's also interesting because of all the people that we know that have been, you know, doing work, commissions of any sort, freelance work of any sort, nobody has actually been going in that direction, even though you mentioned it's one of the easiest ones to get into.
Yeah, because everyone wants to be like the Magic the Gathering fantasy artist, Riot splash illustration artist. Like, that's the hard stuff. Look up, you know, like Adele Rodriguez, people like Brian Ray. They're doing like little doodles for like $1,000 a pop, and it's like, it's not super easy to get into. You have to have good ideas. They're all like very infographic style. They're almost like Norman Rockwell type style illustrations, like where like he's telling a story, but it's done with in a more interesting way now. Like the overly rendered painterly style isn't really sought after in that realm right now. That's more in the like fantasy illustration area. You just have to have like funny ideas or like interesting, like, I don't know. I'm not an expert on it though, even though I went to school for it.
Well, that style always
I think I got like 2 assignments for the New York Times back then, and that's only because my teacher was like Brian Ray, who was the art director, and he probably just like felt bad for me or something. But yeah,
That style always struck me as much as or being as much as like graphic design as illustration, you know, like the way that you have to sort of choreograph the compositions and the style of it. And I don't know, that's what always kind of steered me away from that kind of thing, because graphic design and my brain just don't work well together.
yeah, I did. There were like a few classes where like everyone else was doing like amazing stuff, and I was just drawing like, I don't know, Elsa from Frozen. She's cool. Uh, so I mean, it was kind of like depressing too. Like coming out of college, I was like, I guess I'm not good enough. So that's kind of why I stuck with caricatures for so long, which is not like you can make a living doing it, but like barely. So it was like pretty rough for a while. But I mean,
Well,
I was happy. I don't know. I got to drink Red Bull as much as I wanted. So
and you also mentioned, you know, like having people around you to push you. And certainly, I imagine at Art Center you would have that. But then coming out of college, what played that role for you as far as, you know, having inspirations that made you want to keep pushing forward?
well, I mean, definitely the people I worked with at theme parks. There were some pretty good caricature artists that had been doing it for like, you know, like 20 years, 15, 20 years. So, and at that point, I didn't really have any direction still. Like, I was like, I don't know. So I really leaned into the caricature artist, and that's when I like try to get better, and I would just kind of like focus on getting better at caricatures. I could drop names, but like nobody knows who they are. So
No worries.
it's like Joe Bloom, I don't know, Brian Oakes. I would check them out if you're into like cartoony stuff.
The only caricature artist name that I know is that dude, Court Jones.
Court Jones.
Yeah, and only because
yeah, I've done a few gigs with him.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. I only know that because of, you know, the shit that he does with Proco and stuff, and you know.
Oh no, yeah, he's here in San Diego. Like, you as a caricature artist, you get these things called gigs where you do like caricatures at like weddings or like birthday parties or bar mitzvahs, and we're all part of the same like company that sends us out. I'm not anymore, but yeah, we would wind up at some of the same ones sometimes. He was his painted stuff is cool, but his party sketches kind of boring. Kind of boring, Court Jones.
Step it up, man. Where are you at, dude? Well, at some point during this conversation, we're gonna come back to your current career, and kind of sort of making the leap from caricature to what you're doing now. But in between now and then, we want to talk to you a little bit about your experience with social media. Because someone who's starting to follow your work now will quickly notice a pretty major accomplishment, which is hitting 100,000 plus on Instagram. Whatever you feel about Instagram or follower counts, I know, you know, that conversation has been had ad infinitum, ad nauseum. Nonetheless, you can't help but realizing the implications of that, like, wow, that's kind of a thing. So we're curious to know a little bit more about like what that process was like, and kind of what its implications have been for you. What was involved in that achievement, and like what was happening at that time when Instagram was really working for you?
Well, I mean, I may have misled you. It's still working for me. I'm just not as focused on it. But I mean, we'll get into that. So I mean, I had a few posts kind of like pop off, and my normal like count was like 40 likes at the time, and then all of a sudden I had one that was like 7,000. And so I just tried to replicate that same post over and over again, which was a hard post. It was an old homework assignment from Art Center of like 50 Disney faces, like expression studies. So I was like, damn, I guess I have to keep doing expression studies. So for a while I was doing like 100 like Disney face studies, and like every single one of them was like getting like thousands of likes. And I was getting like a lot of followers. I was like, I might as well just keep just seeing where this goes. I started getting a lot of commissions. So, and it like eventually got to a point where I could just like quit my day job. I was like making the same exact amount that I was making at like Legoland where I was working at the time, and I was like, all right, I don't want to be here anymore. So, and
so that begs the question. I was going to ask about how frequently you're posting, but it's more interesting to know about the commission work, because my understanding from Instagram was that it was all low-paying stuff. So was this low-paying quick commissions, or were there commissions that were paying hundreds or thousands of dollars?
It started pretty low, but I was doing like 5 of them a day. So I think I initially started charging like it was like $40 or something. And also some of those customers have been trying to come back. Like, are you still charge $40? I'm like, no, dude. But yeah, so it was like 5 like $40 commissions a day. I'm pretty fast, so I definitely took advantage. I mean, I'm not doing like highly rendered stuff, obviously, but kind of worked out. I was getting a lot of commissions. I don't know, like it kept coming in, so I like kept raising the price, and it never got to like thousands of dollars. But I mean, it would add up to that much from like the sheer amount that I was getting. And
so what type of commissions were you being asked to do? Like fan art, saucy stuff, or
mostly just it was like fan art, a lot of like pet commissions randomly, and just like get like draw my mom with her dog, like just like a family friendly commission for like, I don't know, her birthday coming up. I got a lot of that, like moms, draw my mom. And yeah, they were pretty like I was posting like pretty saucy stuff. So, but it wasn't like NSFW. It was just kind of like, I don't know, Instagram friendly stuff.
Just with exaggerated quote unquote features.
Yeah.
But you were posting every day.
Yeah, I kept posting, which is like a thing I had been doing anyway. So that wasn't like much of a. I've had my Instagram account for like, I don't know, like 7 years now. Like 2014 is when I started it, and it didn't pop off until like the end of 2018 or something like that. But I was still posting every day for those first 4 years. So, and even before Instagram, I was like posting on Facebook a lot, and then before that, like DeviantArt all the time. So I've been like a serial poster like my whole life, I guess. So it's just natural. I don't know.
There's one interesting part about the Instagram algorithm that most people don't know. Every so often, it will artificially spike your reach just to see how well you do. So that's what happened with your post. It artificially spiked your reach and said, all right, if more people see this stuff, will more people like it? And it will be a higher ratio than we would expect just by chance. And it turned out yours did. So they kept supplying it to you. And then your next post, it also did well. So they continued giving it to you until it became a routine thing for your, and that became your baseline for that algorithm.
Cool.
Good information.
Do you work for Instagram? Like, how do you know this?
I cannot say. No, I work in cancer research, but I study algorithms, so I see what they're doing and I recognize it.
Wait, I'm good, right? My feed is good. Everything just started like slowing down for some reason.
No, you're fine.
I'm good.
All right. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, and Moose has also grown, or at least one Instagram account into I don't know what it's at now, but
we got to 75, but it's down to 69 now, 68.
Yeah, Moose is good at figuring out that.
Bitched out. No.
Yeah, when you do data analytics for a living, I guess you get kind of good at that. But for you now, Dave, what well, sorry, not now, but when you started getting those commissions, was there a after effect from that into your career, like beyond doing commissions? Like you're not doing just commissions anymore. So, like, kind of, what was the Instagram effect on your career between doing commissions to like what you're doing now? Is there a direct line from that, or did you find your way into other stuff regardless of what Instagram was doing for you?
That's a good question. Because at some point I reached out to, it was like the commissions for like a year, and then I like reached out to Meat Canyon via Instagram, who I had already known him for like a year before that. But who knows if he would, at the time he had like 700 followers, and I just like kind of offered to do backgrounds for him. So I always wonder, like, at that point I had like 50,000 followers. I wonder if he just like took me in because I had such a following. So in that case, if that's the truth, I don't think he would ever like admit to that. But if that's the truth, then yes, Instagram did that for me. And then of course that led to some other like smaller. I'm a background artist for Meat Canyon. I've done like backgrounds for other small nobody company like Cartoona, Nickelodeon right now. But so working for Meat Canyon led to that type of stuff because I didn't have a portfolio for that type of stuff before that. I don't know why he let me work for him. I didn't have like background experience.
Well, you said that
You didn't have anybody with any experience. That was the thing.
Yeah, and you said
I knew
that,
I could do anything, so.
and at the time his like viewership was much smaller, so
he didn't like have a viewership. I think his like Twitch had like 7 followers. Like it was like nothing.
what made you want to start doing stuff for him? You just liked his content? Like, what happened there?
Yeah, I liked his stuff, and I noticed his backgrounds were kind of bad. I like the former backgrounds if he sees it because his wife did them. But I was like, dude, I have some extra time. I'll do some like dope backgrounds for you if you want. So I did the first few for free because there was only like 1 or 2 at a time, and now it's like at a certain point it got like, now he's doing, like, we just did a cartoon that was like 42 backgrounds. I was like, you gotta start paying me, dude. Like
that was going to be my next question. I was just trying to figure out how to navigate into it with some tact. But that's like a relationship that starts out
when did he start paying you?
Yeah, well, a relationship that starts out pro bono, or just like with no stated expectation of payment. If that content then starts generating a lot of money, that could be I know a lot of artists that would have a real difficult time with that. Like, oh shit, like how do I deal with this now? I should probably start asking for money, but I feel weird about that, and blah blah blah. So if you don't mind, or if you feel comfortable talking about that, like, what was that negotiation like? Did you just come right out and be like, hey dude, pay up?
It did get a little weird because I didn't feel comfortable bringing it up. So I think there was like, at a certain point, I was like, I can't work for you, man, anymore. And I didn't give him a reason. So there's a few of his like earlier cartoons that are like some generic background garbage. And then I think they were probably charging him too much. So he came back to me and I was like, look, I'll do them for you, but you got to start paying like enough. And that was pretty much it.
My understanding has been that
it's always weird. It's always weird. Sorry.
No worries.
Continue.
My understanding has been that the YouTube algorithm has been not helping animation anymore. So has that had an impact on like your revenue, or no?
Hell no. I think for like a few months ago, like there was some weird thing in the I don't know, the algorithm, I guess, where like one of his like higher like performing videos made like $200, but like since then he makes a lot. I mean, and he also he makes more, and he has like a Patreon and stuff. He's doing fine. he had that Kickstarter campaign, which made a lot of money, but he had a Kickstarter for his show. He's making a show called Monster Lab. It's like I think it's like 6 episodes. It's still in production. And he got like 200 grand for it. I think like after taxes and everything, he only got to keep like 130 or something like that, which is like nothing for an entire season of a show. I forgot what I was saying, but anyway, he's doing fine. He's doing fine.
He's doing fine, and you successfully navigated the awkward conversations surrounding getting fair compensation for that. How much of that, was like a plan on your part, and how much of it was just kind of things working out?
It wasn't in the beginning. I was like, I'll do a few like free backgrounds for like, he's not gonna, whatever, nothing's gonna come out of it. It's just gonna be like, I just want to see some of my art in a cartoon. Like, that's really what I wanted. And then his Pinocchio thing popped off, and here we are. So it was never like planned. I never, and that's what makes it so awkward when like bringing it up. Like, I've always just been kind of like, I want it to be from the angle of doing it for fun, because I do better work that way too. But then now there's like the issue of like, man, I have 40 backgrounds to do in a week. Like, you gotta. I'm losing sleep, man. I need the compensation here. So like, definitely like, there's still conversations like that come up where he'll give me like, since we work so fast and I'm the only one doing backgrounds, like he's banging those storyboards out so fast that sometimes they're literally just a scribble on a page. And I'm like, what is this? We have to sit down and you have to explain to me what this is. And so there's definitely like still awkward conversations. I'm actually taking a break from his next cartoon coming out, so I want to see how that works. But yeah, I again forgot what the original question was.
You answered it. It's just all about the it's the conversation that I'm interested in for the moment, because that is so tough. Like, going back to the start of this line of questioning, artists, people have a hard time talking about finances. Like, that's a kind of a general thing that lots of people suffer from, and then I think artists in particular, there's another layer of that because of everything that's wrapped up in your sense of self-worth and how it's connected to your artwork and all that shit. So those conversations are always very interesting to me. But back to the
it's hard. It's tough when like friends ask like, can I commission you? And I go, it's gonna be like a lot. Like, I'm not giving you any, and they usually like end up not getting. They're like, okay, we'll think about it. It's so much easier to sell to people I don't know. Like,
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, you don't have any emotional investment there. But going back to the Instagram thing for a second. So when you said that you started blowing up about 2018. Instagram has gotten through how knows however many iterations since then, and where it's at now is we could talk about that in a minute. But are there lessons from your experience growing your Instagram back then that would still be relevant today? Or is Instagram, do you think, just too different now as far as what growth is going to look like?
Yeah. I think if right now, I'm not too focused on Instagram. Like, I still obviously post on it, but I'm not like too concerned with like getting more. I mean, it would be nice to get more followers, but I'm not like pushing that. But if I wanted to, I would like study what's popular on Instagram right now, or any platform. And I would just lean into whatever that is. That's how you get successful at anything, pretty much. Just just like figure out what I don't know. Yeah, that's what I would do.
It's marketing, right?
Marketing. No, well, not so much marketing. I mean, if you like just want to get a big following on Instagram, I mean, you could look at a guy like, do you know who Sam Does Art is? Does that ring a bell? Yeah, he's like the face of Instagram art at the moment. He's blown up in way like he's at 1 million followers, and I think he started his account like 4 months ago or something. Or no, it's like a year ago now. Feels like it's been like 4 months. But if you look at his stuff, it's like you can tell he like sat down, like studied like what's popular, like everything, what like the most popular images on Instagram, and he probably has a list of like what to like down to like composition, colors, subject matter, and then also he's a really good artist, so that helps elevate it too. But like, man, he's killing it. He's killing it right now.
It looks like it's semi-realism pretty girls is the crux of it.
And they're very it looks like any other photo on Instagram, you know, that the composition is like it's taken from a camera. I'm sure he's like tracing photos. But
some of these for sure.
I mean, a lot of artists kind of use photos as their under sketch. It's a thing in the industry. I don't do that, but I think it's lame. But I mean, so he's an example of a guy that like he clearly wanted to get big on Instagram and he had a plan, and that's what you gotta have. You just gotta sit down and just kind of just do it. Even if it's like, I don't like drawing that kind of stuff. Like if you want to get successful on Instagram, specifically Instagram, like you gotta just play the game for a little bit until you have enough of a following to do your own thing. And then you'll fall out of style, and then you'll have to do it again. So
yeah, that's what
you want to keep growing.
That's the conundrum, right? Is that you grow an audience based on a certain type of content that you're producing, and then you switch it, and you lose a good section of your audience. But I guess the ticket there is that if you've grown it so big, you can afford to lose 2/3 of it and still have a sizable. If you're sitting on top of 1 million followers, you can probably you lose half of that, 2/3 of that, and you still probably have like a good circle of people.
Oh yeah, I mean,
support you.
I mean, he would feel that for sure, but like, oh my God, we're 500,000 followers on.
So that kind of leads into the next part of this discussion, where we were going to be talking about the changes to the algorithm, where they said directly, the CEO of the company said, we are no longer in a photo sharing website or photo sharing app. They want to send the focus to the video features, the Instagram Live, the Reels, video posts instead of regular posts, and animated stories, video stories. Did you have any thoughts about like how that's going to impact you, or are you just going to keep posting photos and not worry about it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like, I like to do things that I like to do, so I'm not going to like switch to videos just because that's what I just like drawing still images. So if I ever like get into doing video type stuff, then I'll probably lean into that. But I don't think it's really going to affect people that are only doing still images. I mean, they're not going to get rid of photos. They built their entire company off of a photo-based platform with 1 billion people. So just because 1 million people are doing videos now, I don't think it's really going to matter. I mean, those people will be pushed more, but like, someone's always being pushed. Who cares?
Yeah, I guess it's a matter of like, they used to be pushing someone like you, and in the future, if someone were to try to replicate you, or Sam does art or whatever it was, they might not be able to replicate the same process because the same features that we're pushing them might not be available to push to the next person.
Yeah, I guess in that case, yeah, like that would be an instance where you have to like, lean into the video thing. I guess, like, I don't know. I'm sure it can still be done with photos, but it might be harder. I don't know. It's new. It's new. Like we'll see. That like just started, right? So
yeah, They just announced it a few weeks ago when we thought to bring you on to talk about the changes. Yeah.
I like how you're like he is an expert on all things Instagram. So
Well, it's either gonna be that or it's gonna be
I
me
read an
ranting
article.
with you in the background to support me. That's one of the two paths we can go down.
Well, we'll get a little bit of both in there, maybe. Yeah, I think the object lesson is that, you know, that if they go with video, if that's the thing, then people might not be able to approach it with the same kind of formula. You know, like you were saying, you got to have a plan. And this guy Sam does art. Sounds like he had like this very regimented plan. He did all of his like research and whatever. But if it's going in a totally different way, then go ahead.
I mean, it's the same formula. It's just like you got to figure out what videos are popping off, and then just do those videos.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. The video thing.
But I mean,
is...
I think when it comes to art, though, like people expect a still image with art. Like if you're an artist, I don't think people are gonna like not care as much that you're not doing video content. I see a lot of artists trying to do like tutorial. There's a lot of tutorials now, like how I do fire effects. Yay! Like I guess that can work, but I don't know. I just wanted to rag on people doing that. That was the point of that.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
So what? Don't do tutorials?
You can do that. It's just kind of like maybe that's the thing right now. It's always like funny to see like maybe one tutorial popped off, so now everyone's doing it. So I'm like saying that's what you should do, but it's also like kind of like something original at the same time. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I've been pitching to people to do if they want to try doing videos, to try something strange like watch me ruin my art, where you start putting like googly eyes on it, or making them fart, or destroying their hand so it no longer looks like it's a real hand, or stuff like that, just so it's like entertaining rather than educational.
Yeah, that was like the second part of the CEO's like statement. It's like, we're not a photo sharing app, we're an entertainment sharing app now. No one clipped that second part. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, just be entertaining too. People like entertaining. I think another good thing to do that I have not done is like maybe you gotta like put your face more on your Instagram. Like people like to know the artist behind the art. I think that's where I kind of like messed up. But I don't really. Again, I only do like what I want to do. So, but that's definitely a section I could have like maybe bumped up a little.
Yeah, there has been some studies. Well, at least one study where they took the on Reddit, where they took all the record of how many upvotes something got, an image related to art got. If it was just the art posted by itself, if it was art posted with a man standing next to it, and art with a woman standing next to it. And the theory was that the hypothesis was that people would upvote more if it was an attractive woman next to it. And that was true, but only to a small degree if there was a man standing next to it. And then those did so much better than just the picture by itself. So they don't care if it's just the picture as much as if they care if there's a person standing next to the picture.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. People like people. And ladies.
And ladies slightly more.
In the chat, Don Lee O says, I mean, time-lapse vids are a thing. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people just doing that. I think those are boring, but...
Yeah.
That's a thing. You're right, that's a thing.
Well, I'm a junkie for that kind of stuff. I love watching time-lapse and process videos and tutorials, and so I'm the lowest common denominator, I guess. You two are seeking out new and spicy original things, and I'm like the plebeian here who's like, yes, I will take the easy entertainment.
The important part.
I have a few, but I think if they're like 30 seconds long, that's the limit. Like if they're like 8 minutes long of a like a time lapse, like I'm not gonna sit there for 8 minutes. I got other shorter videos to watch.
And the other big part is when the camera moves around and it's already sped up, it makes it much harder to watch.
Yeah. I have a
So
few like that too.
there's a way to manage that where you have a second navigator window on a different monitor, and then you record that monitor instead of your main monitor.
I tried that.
It doesn't show you.
Oh, interesting.
I tried that, and the quality is like severely reduced. Like I couldn't figure out how to get like there's something in the resolution that goes to shit.
Well, there's got to be something that you can do because other people have done it. It's just a matter of figuring it out.
Well, Procreate kind of does it for you, I think.
That's true.
Like they have
CSP does too, yeah.
For the ones I have that don't move around, I never change the size of the canvas. That's it. You just got to keep that canvas the same size the whole time.
Well, can't do it,
Haven't
man.
done it in a while though. Yeah.
Gotta
Make it
zoom
a challenge.
Well, speaking of,
it's not a fun process.
Speaking of, just you doing what you want to do, if you were starting over again right now and you're looking at the marketing options available to you, self-promotion, social media stuff, would Instagram still be a part of that equation? Or would you be focusing on something else? And if so, what would that be?
I'm trying to think if I should take that like literally and be like, if I was starting over now, I wouldn't know anything about anything. But
take what you know now, and then start having no social media presence whatsoever.
I can't. I can't even imagine that because I've just always had somewhat of a social media presence, like be it posting on Facebook or whatever. I don't. If I was starting out now, I'd probably be freaking out. Like, why hasn't anything happened yet? Like I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I would probably look at Instagram and be like, oh, cool. There's a lot of popular artists. I'm looking at Twitter now because my Twitter following's pretty bad. So it is almost like I'm starting over. There's no one from Instagram. I can't get anyone from Instagram to go to Twitter. So I'm like building a new following there, and it does feel like I'm starting over. I'm like, okay, this is what's popular here. That's kind of working. Street Fighter stuff is what I've been latching onto. And it's like I'm looking at these other artists with like a similar following that I have on Instagram, but I'm like, wow, they have so many followers. How can I get to that?
Yeah,
I already have it.
I guess that's what I was getting at.
It's a weird
like what you did with Instagram in terms of like having that constant presence. And there was a time, I guess, where you're like, oh, this Instagram thing is really hot. Here's what I'm gonna do to sort of like keep that ball in the air. Now you're sort of like turning your focus away from that.
It wasn't. So I guess that wasn't the thought process. That
yeah, go ahead.
That definitely wasn't like the. I was just like, yay, people are liking my stuff more, so I'll stick with Instagram, I guess. And then it became like a means for money and stuff.
Yeah. So I guess what I was wondering is like taking all of your experience, like if you, like Moose said, if you still knew you had all of your knowledge, but you're like, you don't have 100,000 followers on Instagram and you're kind of starting fresh in the social media landscape. Just if you had some ideas of like, well, I would focus more in like a different area to accomplish the same goal, I guess. But
I'm going to be doing a presentation this week on Thursday, and one of the slides is going to be a brief overview of all the social media platforms, because these people are just entering their what would be their college years if they were going through college, but instead they're considering doing self-learning instead of going to college. But so it's not going to be until like several years later that they're actually going to be using this advice. So it's just a really brief overview. Twitter, it's all networking. You are supportive and reply to other people positively, their posts. You retweet them, you reply to them, you like them. That's it. That's Twitter in a nutshell. That's how you grow on Twitter. You post your own stuff and you make it shareable, so that they can retweet it. And And generally speaking, don't be a jerk, because that's one of the worst places to be a jerk is on Twitter, because that's shareable as well.
I think isn't there like data to suggest that like that could actually help you though. Maybe not on Twitter, but
yeah, that's the thing.
Business situation. All the hate that this He-Man show is getting is actually getting them more views. This new Kevin Smith He-Man. I don't know. Someone's probably heard of it in the chat.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith. Sorry, keep going. Continue. Sorry.
Yes, negativity does spread faster on social media. You just have to be in the right when it spreads. So if somebody says something bad about you, but you are actually in the right, then it will spread better. For example, when Aaron Carter stole that one wolf image, and they actually went to court over it. It was drama, but for them it was positive because they were in the right. The artist was in the right.
Although I bet yeah, but also I bet Aaron Carter, that was not his. I feel like he's not smart enough to like be conscious of that. Anyway, we could have Aaron Carter podcast at some point.
He was stupid. That's what got the other guy to be in the right. Aaron Carter was in the wrong, and that was good for the other person.
Aaron Carter, man, he's I haven't heard about him much lately, but man, for a while he was doing a bunch of like just dumb shit for he's clearly like not in a good spot, I don't know, mentally.
No,
but he's getting a lot of press from it. So.
Maybe that's good for him, but in the short term it was better for the artist, who also got a settlement out of it, which is plus.
Oh damn.
He was really aggressive about it too, that Aaron Carter, like being like super dickish, you know, like unapologetic, like very like doubling down on it, and that I think made it easier for the artist to get compensated for it, because it's like obviously like this guy's being an asshole.
You know what I heard about like all like lawsuits is like sometimes like they don't even get paid. Like the people that win like a lot of times don't like get the money. Like you don't hear about where the money goes or when it's paid. And there's a famous one that I can't think of. I think it might have been the Papa John's one or something. I don't know. Someone got sued for millions of dollars and they never paid it, basically. And I heard that's like a pretty common thing.
It wouldn't shock me. The more money's involved, the more lawyers are involved, the more money the lawyers can figure out ways to divert to themselves rather than to the client. So that's not shocking.
That's another thing is like lawsuits are so expensive on both sides that like even if you win, you might be like breaking even after like all the lawyer fees and stuff.
I don't know. I haven't. So most of my experience has been through either secondhand, like people have told me what happened to them, or what I've been through myself. And I have never been through a lawsuit, and I don't know anybody that has. So I can't really add too much to it other than I guess it's possible because I've watched Better Call Saul.
Still haven't made it through Breaking Bad, but I'm on like season like 3, I think, right now. Anyway,
it's good.
Good show.
Yeah. The other things I wanted to mention as far as social media stuff goes is there's a few things to keep in mind. Either it's you go to the clients where they are, and that's like Reddit and Facebook groups where you know who your audience is, and then you find where they're already congregating. It could be some forums that are like that. The other things to be interested in are if they're evergreen or not. So if somebody is browsing for something related to what you've made, 7 years after you've posted it, will they find it? And that's really only possible on Pinterest and YouTube. So those are things to keep in mind. And the other one was if it has a good search algorithm. So can someone find you even though they don't know you exist? And YouTube has that, Pinterest has that, TikTok has that, maybe DeviantArt as well, but who uses DeviantArt?
True.
That's a podcast. We got to find somebody who's still fucking killing it on DeviantArt and be like, yeah, what's going on there?
There are still like big name, like Art Germ still posts on that a lot. I don't know if you guys know Art Germ.
Yeah, Stanley.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he still posts on that regularly. I mean, like whenever he posts on, I think that's where he got his like start. But anyway,
They're trying to make a new thing. Like they're sponsoring like Stumpy Fongo and some other people to try to promote that they're trying to do a comeback and be a better place for artists than Instagram. That's their crux.
it's gonna be rough.
So a question,
It's like Instagram saying it's
go
gonna be
ahead.
better than TikTok. Like, I don't. Anyway, continue.
No, it's all good. A question that's semi-related to the "what would you do now if you were starting over" question, but maybe better focused, is what are you doing now in terms of social media and like self-marketing? Like, what is you're not taking Instagram so seriously. I know you've been messing with YouTube a little bit. What are you feeling right
No,
now?
I'm
What are
not
you liking?
super. I'm more focused on like getting an industry job at this point, which I have. Okay. But like, so generally that means doing work that wouldn't work on any platform, really. Like portfolio work, no one cares about unless it's like a cool character turnaround. So I'm kind of just making that choice to. I'm still doing little quick sketches on Instagram for the fans, but yeah, mostly I'm just focusing on like storyboard portfolios and stuff like that to get a job in the animation industry eventually.
So you're kind
So-
of moving away from the self-propelled freelance life into something more stable.
Yes. Which is I'm making pretty good cash, but yeah, it is like stressful to like a month ago or a few weeks ago I put out like a post like call for commissions because I was in a little bit of a decline, but when I put that post out I got like 50 commissions. So like, oh cool, they still do like me. Thank you. I mean, that is a good conversation though. Like I would, if you want to work in the industry, then like you should not care about social media. There's plenty of people working in the industry that have a shitty like social media presence, and it's mostly because uh like industry work doesn't do well on like social media platforms. So if you're focusing all your energy into doing work for like a social media thing, like you're in a way kind of like screwing yourself over because you're not working on portfolio work. Like focus on that portfolio work. But then
Yeah.
it's like all my friends in the industry are like how do I get a better like Instagram? Like everyone wants the other things. It's just kind of funny.
It's kind of like
But
actors who want to be musicians, musicians who want to be actors, and so on and so forth. But
I would say, I mean, that's a good thing to look into, though. Don't think you're gonna get jobs from like drawing half-naked ladies all the time. So
social media is great if you want to be a freelance artist or an independent artist. Is not so great if you want to get industry work.
yeah,
Yeah, and the NDA stuff is an issue too, and the social media conversation keeps happening, and one of the reasons that I keep wanting to submit people to it is that, especially with like Instagram, people have this, because it's had such a massive influence, people have this idea that it's this like you just have to do it, but there is like a emperor has no clothes kind of effect where it's like when you really start digging in what's really under the
I'd love to
surface.
see that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, there are the exceptions. I know, like, I don't know if you know Zach Retz. He got his, I think he said he got his start like from someone noticing his work on Instagram. So, I mean, it can happen, but most of the time, I mean, he was doing like portfolio style work, so that's probably why he got recognized. But I have like art directors that like my stuff all the time, and I'm always like, because I'll check, I'll be like, who's like this shit? Like, I don't know, Rad, what's his name? The guy that made Kipo, he likes all my pictures. Shout out to you if you're watching this for some reason.
I think that's an
I'm always
invitation
like,
for
once
you.
you gonna like DM for that job, like
That's you.
It's not happening.
You have to take up that mental. You have
Yeah.
to make that effort because he's saying I like you over and over again, and you're saying, well, take the next step also. But really, it's you have to take the next step.
You're probably right. It's all those. I was telling you guys before how like I have a friend that just like gives me personal emails to like all these art directors. I probably shouldn't say that. I won't drop his name. But every time I'm like, dude, I want to work on the show. That'd be so cool. He's just like, oh, here's like so and so's email. Like, give him a email. I'm like, does that work? Like, how do
I
you
think that's how
cold
the industry
email
works.
somebody?
Yes, I think it's a bit like say you introduction. You say who is the person that gave you that email and why they gave it to you, and that's your intro to them.
I would. Oh, yeah, that's true. I thought you were asking me like right now. I was like, I would say because he is high up there, but that's all I have to say. I know someone high up there. That's all I want to get
As long as
across.
they know that person, and if they ask that person and they say, yes, I sent them your way, you're good. But if they ask that person and they say, I have no idea who you're talking about, then you're in the shit. So don't make up those lies.
True. Well, I mean, it's that, and you need like the portfolio too. It's not just like who knows who. You have to be good enough to do the job. So, which I am.
Barnes in chat says that's how he gets his work from cold call email references that he's been given from other people. So get on it.
Right on. Lawrence, I'm going to hit you up.
Yeah, the effort that you're making into industry work, there's something that you got going on
shit.
now. Oh,
Sorry.
What happened?
Push-ups.
Oh my god. I got to make
All
a
right,
note.
fine. Let's do it.
Oh, what? Everybody's breaking for push-ups? Okay, I'm gonna do push-ups on my desk.
Oh, is he doing them too?
Moose is doing them. I'm doing them on my desk.
Champion.
But I'm also making
Moose.
a note
I love it.
of the timestamp so I can edit that out as well. I don't know. This might be the most edited podcast that we'll have.
You have an entire week to do it, Joby.
That's going to happen
I'll
next
edit
Sunday.
it. Actually, no, don't hold me to that. I'm seeing Moose get up now. How much of a delay is this on?
Don't watch the stream,
Yeah,
dude. That's not going to do you any good.
I gotta make sure Moose isn't talking trash in the. I'm just kidding.
But I wanna ask you about your forays into the industry work because that's just starting to happen for you now, and it's happening in a big way. I know you can't talk too much about this. Can you can say who you're working for? Is that correct?
I think so. I will. I just will. I got a gig for Nickelodeon.
Oh, I was going to say it starts with an N, rhymes with Belodian.
Belonian? Or I mean, no, they're cool. I don't know. I guess it's like a concept art job. It's kind of like weird to explain. That's all I can explain about it. It's I'm doing concept art for a Nickelodeon show.
It's the return of the Adventures of Pete and Pete. You can say it right here. No, I'm kidding.
And
I wish.
It's kind of funny the way I don't know if that was going to be your next question, but the way I got it was not from Instagram. It wasn't from Meat Canyon. It wasn't from my art school connections. In high school, I was on a swim team, and someone on that team remembered me, and they're now like a producer of the show I'm working on. And they just like hit me up through Facebook. Good thing I never check Facebook. And I just happened to check it like a week ago. And I saw this message that like just came in. And I was like, yes, I'm available. Like, and that's kind of, yeah, I knew a guy on swim team and now I work at Nickelodeon. So for like this one gig, it's not like it's just like a contract type of deal. But yeah.
Yeah, but that's how it starts, though. You know, you put that in your portfolio, you put that on your resume, and I'm sure that's going to have ripple effects. It's hilarious about the swim team. That wasn't my next question, but what is the effect of your previous material. So like last week we had Cami Vite on and talking about how not safe for work material may or may not, affect your career opportunities. And from her explanation, it seems like it doesn't necessarily have to have any effect. And I'm intrigued by your step into Nickelodeon, because this is sort of like another underscore that, if you're drawn, not that your stuff isn't like so crazy risky, it's like not like super raunchy, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's kid friendly. So for like Nickelodeon to be like, yeah, let's hire that guy, I assume that there was no like conversation about that, or like nobody like dug around in your social media. There was. Okay, let's hear it.
I don't think anyone's, I don't know if they've looked at my Instagram, but I wish for my portfolio I showed them like my ArtStation stuff. And if you go there now, like I pushed all my family friendly stuff like to the top. So you don't have to look far to find the other stuff. So but I mean, it worked. Like my friend from the swim team, he's my friend now. He was like, you might want to like only show like family friendly stuff, because I'm dealing with like producers that like aren't artists or whatever. Like, so they'll think like that's the type of work I'm gonna be giving them, basically. It's really weird dealing with these producers. I mean, it's fine if they're watching, but it's definitely like an interesting these like conversations we've had about like my sketches are like hilarious. I can't talk about them, unfortunately, but it's
no. But let's not along those lines of you've drawn the stick figure and they're like, it's gonna have clothes though, right? And you're like, yes, it'll have clothes on it.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't imagine drawing like a rock, and it's like a pretty good rock, and then someone else is like, but you got to change, you got to put this crack over there, and like this like shading needs to go over there. Like, can you move that shading somehow? And I'm like, what? No one's gonna care about that detail. Like, sure, I'll move the shading. Like, there's a lot of stuff like that. Like,
that reminds me of there was a documentary called The Man Behind the Poster, about a guy who was making poster art for like the Star Wars movies and etc. And after the invention of digital art in Photoshop, it started to be that the producers and whoever would want to start taking control of the poster more, and because they knew that you could move things around. And so they were like, now it's my poster because I told you to change the composition of it, pretty much.
Yeah. They're not like that. They're pretty, I mean, generally they're pretty supportive of like the work I show and stuff. It's just kind of like every once in a while the details are like they'll have like notes on details that just don't matter at all. Like I'm showing them like quick sketches right now, but might be like a detriment, but because they're like looking at certain line qualities and stuff, and they're like, that line's a little thin right there. Like, it's just it's a quick sketch, bro. I know people are watching going like, that's obviously like you should fix that, but I can't explain it without like giving away the project. So obviously I know when a note is like something I should fix, and when it's not. I still do push-ups during our Zoom meetings though. So that alarm is like permanent. I'll be taking a nap and hear it, and I'm like, damn it, push-ups.
It's fucking impressive, anyway. Man. That's kind of intense, dude. Like, because I've tried similar things in the past, and I've always been like, I can't do that right now. And you're like interrupting like fucking like meetings with producers at Nickelodeon. Like, hold on, bro, I gotta do push-ups.
I mean, it takes like 10 seconds, so I guess it's not too much.
Do you literally say I have to do push-ups, or you're like, I gotta get some water real quick?
I'm like, I gotta do push-up. My push-up alarm just went off. I gotta do push-ups real fast. So
all right, cool.
That's literally what I say.
And I used to draw.
I work for Meat Canyon. I mean,
Yeah, right. Yeah. And I used to draw big boobs, for a living. So take that, Mr. Producer. So all of this is to say that like you didn't have to take it out of your portfolio entirely. So like no one was like, no, that's not going to work. You basically just had to kind of tone it down a little bit.
well, I mean, if you go to my ArtStation, I made a new little folder, which is the folder I showed them with like all my like family friendly stuff, which I have a lot. I thought I was gonna have a hard time finding it, but I guess I have a lot. But that's the only folder I showed them, or I gave them a link to. But it's not hard to like just navigate out of that folder and see what else I got going on. So like, I don't know what they're doing, but they like me, so
Yeah, that's
cool.
what's interesting is like you hear like in the corporate world of getting hired and like, oh, they're gonna dig through like all of your Twitter posts and all of your social media, and it's sort of like this word of caution that you hear repeated, like be careful of what you share, what you do on social media, because that shit. And I'm sure in some jobs that's definitely more of a risk factor than others. I don't know. I guess I just kind of
keep all my racist stuff on a secret account. So they'll never find it. But I don't think I'm always like kind of like aware of that. I mean, it might seem I don't have any like radical opinions out there anywhere, just because I'm not a opinionated guy. But like if I do have a weird opinion about something, I'll just like kind of refrain from. It's just like not my style, I guess. I don't know. I'll just keep that stuff amongst my friends, who I am racist to.
Which is okay because you're mildly brown, I guess. I don't know. Do we need to edit this part out too? Like, I don't know.
How dare you? No, I'm just kidding.
Moose is upset. Okay, we'll take it out.
I love the Moose reaction. You should, every time I say something, just edit in that Moose reaction for like everything. Just face palm. That'd be great.
I think that was in relation to the lag. Is it? Are you still getting severe lag, dude? Or am I still severely lagging?
It's you, yeah, but it's fine.
I don't understand how it could be so bad. But Dave doesn't seem affected by it.
I got that expensive internet, dog. You pay like $3.50 a month. No, $3.50. Joe. Anyway, let's continue.
No, it's all good.
So the stream that like this. Anyway, whatever. The stream looks weird.
Definitely don't look at that.
Yeah, that's Joby's internet.
Oh, you know what it is? I think my wife is watching something. She's streaming something upstairs, and that's probably fucking up. The good news is that the recording will be all right, and that, yeah, because I'm recording it locally, so it's not going to get fucked up. Anyway,
well, the over talking will be.
Yeah, that's a problem no matter what, though.
I'm just trying to get all the expressions in.
You can write that off to my rudeness. And
Dave, you can use all this practice for your next 100 expressions sheet for your whatever.
When I launch my next Instagram campaign, hit that 200 grand, yo.
Well, let's get back to your industry work. As you make these forays into the industry and becoming, one of these like fancy highfalutin types, are you gonna still keep doing work with Meat Canyon and that kind of stuff too?
Yeah, I've told him like I'll always make time for his stuff. Unless, I mean, obviously there's going to be situations where I just don't have time. Like if he drops another 40 backgrounds on me with 3 days to go, I'm probably not going to take that. But yeah, I mean, right now, like he's still paying me more, so like I'm pretty much just doing this Nickelodeon thing for that word on my resume, and also for possible future gigs. I think ultimately, like I do want to end up in the studio circuit, which everyone tells me not to do, but I want that experience. But I think like honestly, the Meat Canyon connection is clear. It's like the best thing in my career probably ever. So there's never going to be anything else like that unless another random animator just pops off out of nowhere, and I happen to be there when it happens. Like, it's just not going to happen.
So when you do get assigned, well, asked to do work, but you don't have the time for it from Meat Canyon or somewhere else, do you refer them to a friend who can do the work, or do you hope that they fail so that you can continue getting more work?
He knows other people, so like this next cartoon he's working on this week, like I've opted out, and he was like, "All right," and I'm not like worried about like getting locked or like ghosted by Meat Canyon or whatever, because it's an intense gig. Again, 40 backgrounds in 3 days for the Bob the Builder cartoon. There's not a lot of people that would want to do that, so it's a rough. It can be rough. I'm fast. I use that to my advantage. I'm sure if anyone else could do that, they would charge a lot more. I'm pretty generous, or I should probably charge him more, but he pays me well. It's a tough gig to fill unless it's like 10 backgrounds or something.
Why is that deadline so tight? Like, why is that? That's so crazy.
Because I mean, I don't know if you like familiar with his like output of work. He like generally releases a cartoon every like, for a while it was every week, and that was pretty nuts. And now it's like every 2 weeks. And I think he has like, it's a larger crew now, and he spends more time on the writing. So I think he'll spend a few days on like the writing, and then he has like a storyboard artist that might take a few days to do the storyboards. And then that's when he'll send the storyboards to me. And then we just kind of have to and the animators, by the way, who also have to do the work in the same amount of time. And we just gotta rush it out pretty much. So it's never like the most finished work, unfortunately. But it works for him. So
vaguely familiar. I mean, I've watched some of his stuff, and I'm familiar enough with it. I don't know. I just, for some reason, I guess I just would have imagined that there was more like advanced planning. Like, even though he's putting them out so fast, it's like, okay, at least like a couple weeks. What am I doing 2 weeks from now?
Yeah, I don't know. I think like some of his ideas he does start thinking of like a little more in advance. But since like the production is so intense, like you can only focus on the one cartoon for that like 2 week period. So I think like the day he releases it, like on Sunday, that's the day he's like rushing to write the next script to start the next one. So it's rough. It's not an ideal way to work. It probably won't. I doubt it'll continue like that going into the future. But for now, that's how it is. And I'm pretty proud of what he's accomplished and what we've been able to put out there. So it's fun, and I can do it. So
it's an awesome thing. I mean, I love this like a concept that like small, like that's a very small operation that he's doing, and that you got so much work for it and paid so well for it. It's like this testament to what the possibilities are and what the options are, if you have the skills and the dedication. As far as like other types of commissions go, like, have you set that aside? Like, if you get hit, do you still get hit up on Instagram, and do you just kind of forego all of that now?
I'm not doing like 5 a day like I used to, but I do have a number of commissions I'm working on now from that like route, because I put that call for commissions out like a few weeks ago, and I got like 50 commissions, and I for some reason took them all. So I'm gonna be like mowing through that mountain of stuff for the next month or two, and just have that going on. I'm always like, I'm so used to working on a lot of stuff. So, because again, back in the day when like Meat Canyon was first coming up and we were doing cartoons every week, I was still doing like sometimes like 4 commissions a day on top of like the backgrounds I was doing for him. On top of like some other, I was doing like comic stuff too. So,
And comics
gotta be a
are
workhorse,
terrible.
man. What?
And comics
can
are
be-
terrible. Yeah.
Comics are fun, but they're not that fun to work on.
And the pay isn't super great, right?
the the private commissioner that was paying me last year like kept me alive through the pandemic, so he was pretty, in that case it was pretty good. The comics were terrible. Some of them are on my art station, you can go look at them. I didn't write them, just keep that in mind.
Fair enough.
But I think in general, yeah, like I don't know, like isn't like DC, they pay like 200 a page or 300 a, so if you're doing
Depends
like
on the artist.
a
Yeah.
couple pages a day, it could be, I mean, you'll have no life, but it could be pretty good. I wouldn't do it.
How do the commissions you're getting today compare to the commissions you were getting earlier? And you're like when you first started, you're starting out, you're doing like $40 commissions, and they weren't taking very long. Are you spending more time on your commissions now, or how does their pay stack up?
The pay is better. They don't. They don't. I try to give the illusion that they take longer, but they don't take that long, honestly.
That's the ideal way, yeah.
When someone like commission, especially a guy like me, when they commission me, they're probably expecting what they see on my Instagram. Those sketches take me like 30 minutes. Some like tops. Some of them take an hour sometimes, but so every once in a while there's like the I'll still get the pressure of like, oh, I got to do something good now. Like I got to spend time. And then I just remind myself like, oh, they just like the stuff they see. I can just make it look like that. I try to make it look better. Some of the stuff on my Instagram is pretty messy, but and then yeah, I'll usually like finish it and give it to them like 3 days later just to like give the illusion I spent a long time on it. But if you're watching this, thank you for your commissions.
That sounds like the it was a thing on Star Trek where they said to it was Scotty in the episode TNG where he showed up through a time machine type thing, and he said you got to lie to your captain and tell them it's going to take you 3 times longer than it's actually going to take you, so that way when you do it in half the time, they think you're a miracle worker. So it's marketing.
Yeah, I'm doing that with Nickelodeon too. Like I can do. Again, if you're watching, thanks for hiring me, but I like kind of force myself to like slow down on the work I'm doing for them, because I could easily do, again, if you're watching this, I could easily do like 50 sketches a day if I really wanted to, but then they would expect 50 sketches a day. So
and that would ruin your hands. Is the problem.
I wouldn't be able to work on my dope Instagram commissions. And also they're not paying me like, they're paying me good, but not that much. Like, you gotta,
Do you have a calculation for determining your commission prices? You can be as specific as you want to, or or vague. Do you have like how do you go about deciding? Well, like what I should charge. Do you kind of roughly hourly it or what?
No, it's just like a flat rate. It's like, I'll just say it's like it's like hundreds of dollars. That's what I'll say for a commission. But I got there from like just slowly building it up and seeing what people would. I'm sure I could like raise it even more still now. Like people don't seem to care. But
yeah, if you're able to get 50 commissions out of a single post, then yeah, it's an indication that you're not charging enough. That's the thing. But or you not.
I made like
more.
5 figures off it. At like a certain point, it's like a lot. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. It's just like, what am I comfortable with charging people? And you're right. I could probably raise it.
It's usually the opposite problem, right? It's usually that the person's not getting enough commissions, so they're not charging enough. So you happen to be in a good situation where you're both making a worthwhile amount of money, and every time you open your mouth and say you're open for commissions, it jumps up to be a sizable amount. So that's a good problem to have. You're in a good position to be not charging quote unquote as much as you could, but yeah, it's not hurting you in this case.
Here's the other thing: is I don't really like doing commissions. That's another reason I'm moving into the the industry animation territory. You get a lot of like, just again, if you commission me, thank you. Most of the time, it's like draw this girl with like her boobs out, dude.
Or draw my mom's dead cat, right? And you have to draw a dead cat.
Yeah.
It's a remembrance portrait. And you're like, oh, this is sad. I'm drawing this cute animal, and it happens to have passed already.
Yeah, it feels like a more expensive version. Yeah, draw my mom dead. She's nice. It's like a more lucrative version of what I was doing at Legoland, of like caricatures. Basically, I'm doing the same thing, just in a different style for more money. And that's the original reason I wanted to not work at Legoland anymore. But the bigger paycheck helps. So I don't know. I didn't have a point I was making there. I make lots of money, is what I'm saying.
I love hearing that.
Rent a room. So.
I love hearing that, because we want artists to hear, hey, you can make money doing this.
And it goes to my point of when people are not getting enough commissions, it's about finding more people to reach out to. And you are able to do that through your Instagram because you have a very large reach. So a lot of people are rejecting your request, but there's even more people. There's enough people that are accepting it.
Yeah, I should also say, like, I'm willing to do like mountains of work. So you have to have that mentality. You have to be able to do the work for it to be. This like amount of commissions could easily take someone else like a year to get through, where I'm giving myself like a month to do it. So I'm already through like most of them also. So
for context, Steve Sketches takes about a year to do 50 commissions. So
Jesus, yeah. I mean, his stuff's more detailed, so I mean, I guess that makes sense. But yeah,
he's spending hours per one, so it could be anywhere from 6 to 20 hours for a piece from him. So
stuff looks good for him. But yeah. So exactly, like I'm really fast. I get fast, but I mean, I think I built that up through doing caricatures for like 15 years. So I'm just used to like cranking out like 40 sketches a day, every day. So caricature sketches, not commissions. I do like 2 a day now. So,
well, let's fast forward 5 years from now, and you got like a solid gig at like your dream job,
the Venture Bros movie.
What would that
supposedly happening?
Quick tangent. What would that be? Like, what's your dream gig?
I don't think I have like a I don't know, mega destination I'm looking at. Like I hope I like rule the world in 5 years. It's more just like I hope I get an entry level job at a like a decent studio. So if that happens in the next 5 years, I feel like it's going to happen this year, but it happened. Nickelodeon, they're okay.
You're so reasonable.
If it I mean, that's aim high, but also like be realistic too. In 5 years, I hope to have had a few industry gigs. That's my goal. That's the answer to that question. And then homeless in 10 years. I'll have lost it all somehow in Vegas.
Hey, it's your fantasy, unique, man. Whatever you want, whatever you want to do. I love it because like everybody that I know is like, I gotta work at blah blah blah, like super top tier. Not everybody that I know, but that's like you hear that more often than not, and you're like, if I got a good thing, that'd be all right. You know, whatever. That's all good.
Because it used to be like work like Disney or something like that, but it's like I don't know. I'm reading these like contracts and stuff. Like sometimes they make you like not allowed to share any of your sketches. I heard that was a thing at Disney. I don't know if it still is, but in that case, that would kill my entire Instagram like career if I can't share like any sketches. Like, are you kidding? So
you mean any at all, or just like the work that you do for them?
I heard at a point at like some, I don't know if it's like this anymore, but I heard at like some point, uh, like like any sketches in your sketchbook were like owned by, I don't know if it was Disney or whatever company did that. I think it was Disney because I heard for The Nightmare Before Christmas, uh, like a producer like saw Tim Burton's sketch. I don't know if this is. I might be making this up, but like someone saw his sketch in his sketchbook and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna use that," I guess. And I guess they were nice enough to give him the director position too. But just the idea, like again with this Nickelodeon thing, if they make merchandise off of my design, I get nothing. That was like part of the contract, so that kind of sucks. Like obviously, I just gotta make sure to not make it cute so nobody buys it.
Wade in the chat, Wade has done work in the movie industry, and he's confirming that it's less the case now. Yeah, it's less the case now, but it has been in the past. That seems so extreme, man. Like everything that you draw is like under their fucking umbrella. That's wild.
Yeah. Again, I'm not an authority on this. I heard that at one point, at some point. But now that I think about it, I would want to work on a Netflix show to go back to the what I want to do in 5 years. Netflix show. Hit me up, Lawrence.
Okay, so
still watch.
So in 5 years, you've got the Netflix show, and they let you share your other personal work. They don't have you under some kind of psychotic contract. Is there personal work? Are there personal projects? You know, if you had, you also have extra time in this fantasy that we're creating for you. You work for Netflix. They let you share your shit, and you have time and energy left over for your own personal stuff. Do you have things in the works or ideas for that?
No, I don't think so.
No, man.
I mean, there's always like the fantasy of like, I want my own creator-owned comic or something like that.
But I was hoping
a studio or a company that's been reaching out for me to do that, and I'm too lazy to make it happen. So realistically, like, it's not going to happen if I'm left up to my own devices. Like, bigger projects are tougher for me to get through. On my own.
I was hoping that you were gonna say that Super Neighbors was gonna become like a thing, because that is fucking awesome, and people need to check out Super Neighbors on Webtoons because it's bonkers.
Oh, thank you.
And I know that it's, you know, you're not betting the house on Super Neighbors, but I'm just hoping that it's not gonna die. I'm hoping that it's gonna continue. You'll keep contributing to it.
We'll see, because I keep forgetting it. I'll have like bursts every once in a while where I put out like 3 at a time, and then I have it all written out. It's just a bunch of gags. It's not like a coherent story, but and then I'll forget about it. I'll be like, I haven't uploaded there. But it's funny you mentioned Super Neighbors. They also kind of like boosted my Instagram back in the day. Like the first 2. The second Super Neighbors comic is my most liked post on Instagram like ever. So I had 41,000 likes at one point. Now it's down to like 38,000 for some reason. Like I don't know what's going on there, but I have a screenshot of the 41,000. But yeah, so that is like one thing I'm proud of that wasn't like fan art that helped me out, I guess. And I think if I were to continue it in a serious way, I would probably hire like a writer that knows what they're doing, that I would feed my ideas to, and then they could like make it cool. So
It's good stuff. I'm
maybe.
not just trying to like build you up with hokum. It's, I mean, like you say, it's like, oh, it's just gags. But man, that's some of the best shit. You know, the stuff that you're just like let it go. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to invest a lot of emotional stock in this. This is just making me smile. This is super fun. Sometimes that's where the best shit comes from, right? That's why I asked about personal projects, because it's like, you obviously have fun when you're cutting loose and you're just like doing your thing. It's fun to watch for sure. So I don't know. This is all my like not so sly way of being like, where's it at, man?
It's tough to keep it the spur of the moment stuff is the most fun, but when you like stretch that out into like a month-long project, like yeah, you'll definitely forget like what inspired you sometimes. Working on the Meat Canyon stuff, like it starts with just like a dumb joke that we both think is fun, or he thinks is funny, but that joke quickly becomes very unfunny when you are like watching it over and over again and like just working on it and saying the lines and stuff. I think that happens just to anybody working on long-term projects.
Yeah, fair enough.
It just becomes a labor.
I'm curious to know a little bit more too about that thing that you mentioned a little while ago about a studio that's been trying to get you to create something that like an original project from you. They want you to put something out.
Yeah, there was a French comic book company called like Webtoon Canvas or something. It's like the French Webtoon. I don't know why they reached out to me, English speaking man. But yeah, they've been like reaching it. Like they haven't talked to me in like months because I haven't done anything. But they asked me if I had any like ideas I wanted to like turn into a comic, and they had like money too. They were gonna throw my way. It wasn't like you might get paid. It was like you will get paid if you turn out like this many like issues or something like that. And so I had a few like story ideas, but like it's writing so hard, man. I don't know. It's so hard to like tie everything together in a like an interesting, logical way, and then stay like interested in that idea for longer than like 2 days as well. That's a hard part. So every once in a while I'll open that file back up again and start kind of like picking at it, but I don't think it's gonna really go anywhere, honestly.
Is that the thing that holds you up the most? Is the writing part of it, like making the story coherent?
Oh yeah, if someone like just comes to me with a script, like that's easy.
So it wouldn't be worth it to you to try and find a writer for that project?
Because I want to keep all the money. It might be worth it. I don't know. It's a lot of work too. Like comics, I can draw a lot, but comics it like takes it to a whole another level. So I don't know. It might happen. It's probably not gonna happen.
Yeah, we talked to Scuba Steve Myers a couple weeks ago about indie comics, and I don't know. It's strange. Like, as popular as comics are, and you know, they make the publishers money, it seems like the artists could get paid more. But
I mean, if you're an indie, yeah, that's another thing. I could potentially just like publish it myself and probably make a decent amount. But then that's on the back end. I would do a lot of work up front, and so that's tough too. It's I don't know. I don't know how like image comic creators do it, because it seems like in that case, like you have to do most of the work up front and then pitch it to them. and then they publish it, and then you get paid like years later. It's like, how did you make that comic? Like, you know,
These are questions that we need to ask.
pros need to. Lawrence.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why I keep.
Well, he spoke up. He popped his head up. That means that we take aim at him. We'll come in.
I don't think he's even here anymore.
He'll be around. Don't worry. But coming into our wrap up, man. Moose, did you have any follow ups or anything you didn't get to ask?
No, I just want to point out that Dave has been playing video games more on his Twitch streams than he's been doing art. I wanted to check in why he was doing that.
I don't know, because they're fun. I don't know. I don't really have a plan for like Twitch. Like, I don't want it to become like a. I think there was a point where my Twitch was like popping off, like a long. Actually, this goes back to like meeting Meat Canyon. At one point, I was getting like 80 viewers at a time, which was a lot for me. And I raided Meat Canyon, and that's how I. He had like 7 followers. That's how I initially met him, and like when I was getting all those like viewers, it just felt weird. Like all of a sudden, like drawing felt like a job instead of like something I've been doing for fun. And so I just like immediately just stopped like I just killed that accidentally. And I don't know, man. Twitch is just it's like an excuse for me to play video games. I still draw there though. I drew there today. But
Yeah,
I just don't want it to feel like a job, like that I have to like do it. I don't even have like subs set up, or like I think I do have donations set up, but there's no alerts or anything. So it's definitely like a self-indulgent, like I don't even care. I'm talking to myself, like I don't care who's watching. It's for me. And yeah, that video games are where I'm at right now.
It was such a dad question too. Like, were you playing video games? Did you get all your homework done?
Probably not. But that was just funny because I had hung out with him for the past few nights when he was playing Final Fantasy X with a Titus only run for some reason. So,
well, I mean, in that case, I mean that's if you've been following my channel for a long time, I've played Final Fantasy X like 5 times or something over the course of like 2 years. So a lot of people know that I like Final Fantasy X, and it was recently like its 20th anniversary, like 2 weeks ago or something. So it's 20 years old, which is crazy. But that's why I'm playing it right now.
But
the last night was, yeah. Sorry, keep going.
This all goes to say, like, yeah, you can have avenues that are just for fun. You don't have to be Mr. Social Media and optimizing all of your accounts at all times. Some of them can just be whatever, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I have like no life, so those moments are my like vacation. I had dental surgery like a few days ago, and I had to spend like a day in bed because I was in so much pain. That was like my first vacation in a very long time. I was like sitting there in bed like, oh, this is kind of nice. I'm not drawing 80 pictures right now. And then I also did an ultra marathon. Like running is I run like 10 miles a day. That's my like time. That's my break. That's my lunch break. So it's a weird existence. For sure.
For some reason I can't, like, Streamlabs isn't letting me paste the link to your Twitch stream into the chat. Moose, I don't know if you have quick access to that. But
yep, I already put it in with the shout out. Yeah.
Oh, weird.
We're good.
Man, okay. Oh, now, oh shit. Now it like.
By the way, if anyone's coming over for like Final Fantasy X, I think I'm gonna like take a break. That was just for the anniversary thing. I don't think I'm gonna like keep playing it. So.
Nope, you're gonna have to now, all the way through. Titus only from start to finish. One stream.
Shit. Oh, that's another. I did play it all the way through for New Year's. It was a 20-hour stream. I'm at a standing desk. I played it all the way through. I chalk that up there with like my ultra marathon finishes. Like
you were standing up the whole time?
Standing, yeah. I think I sat down. I have a stool here, but for the most part, I was standing the whole time.
You have such interesting ways of getting in shape, man.
Oh, and I was doing push-ups every hour too. So.
Holy shit, dude. Well,
Yeah.
There's so many things to talk about in that by itself, but we'll save that for next time. If you want people to find out more about you, man, where would you like us to send them? Where would you like people to go to learn all about it?
I don't know. Instagram, Dave Cave Draws on Instagram and Twitter, and here on Twitch, you already have the link. You could watch Meat Canyon videos, but no, I mean, I do the backgrounds. Sometimes I do the storyboards. Yeah, that's it. There's not really much you can learn about me.
I beg to
other
defer.
than here on the Joby Door podcast. We had another. This is my second time on, so you can learn more stuff. When I was shaving,
because there is a lot to learn about you. You make it difficult. You like to play coy and like keep people at arm's length, but we're curious, man.
I just don't know how to talk at all, so it's hard to talk.
Well, I'm so sorry that we made it so much harder on this time around. My wife and I are going to have to figure out some negotiation about us both streaming things at the same time. There is one more question for you, though, our trademark final question. Aside from work and personal projects and art and stuff, what's one thing that's happening in the world right now that you're excited about?
You know, I've been, not to plug other people. I mean, I've been following this guy named Lord Spew. He's an artist. He's a storyboard artist here on Twitch. He does really fun, like, drawing request streams where he battles, like, other people in the industry. And it's a fun time. And I have a lot of fun watching his streams. And you can watch Meat Canyon stuff. And I've been rewatching The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix. That's a good show. Should check it out. You guys watch that, buddy? You ever seen that?
I watched the movie a long time ago, and that was enough disturbing stuff for me.
No, it's not it's not. It has nothing to do with the shitty movie was. It's like a good show.
All right. I'm going to make a note.
Check it out. It's scary. I don't know if you get scared, but it's like a good show.
I get scared by scary stuff, but sometimes like horror and scary is like, this is not scaring me.
It's more of like a drama with like horror elements, but there are some like jump scares in it. But they're like really well done. I don't know. I don't get scared. I used to run up mountains at night without a light, so I don't do that anymore. But it's hard to scare me.
I don't know if that's scary so much as just
irresponsible.
Irresponsible, yeah.
No, dude, it's just training. It's just training.
If you want to know what's really scary, you got to look at people driving the way they do drive after the pandemic. They're used to driving with nobody on the road. Now there's people on the road again. They're driving across the line on double yellow lines, and they're like, "Whoops! I guess I have to make you drive on the shoulder now so I can pass this other car." No.
I thought you were gonna say, like, do you know what's really scary? A woman driving. Oh,
bazinga!
Well, pretty soon
I don't actually think that.
Pretty soon we'll all be in Teslas driving themselves, and
Mars.
It's fucking utopia's on the way, man.
Cool.
Dave, thank you so much for being with us again, man. I do apologize for the technical mayhem and the extra talking, more talking over
present.
Yeah,
no, I'm just kidding.
More talking over than I even normally would. So thanks for putting up with that and giving us some time, man. It was great to talk to you, dude.
I was afraid I was talking over you too much, like I just did, right? Thank you. It's always fun. It's fun to see what you're doing with the Twitch art community. It really helps me feel like I matter on this platform for some reason. Like, I don't know. I don't consider myself like a good streamer, but you make me feel like I should be. Also, you definitely like glitched out. You were like the Matrix for a second.
Yeah.
Half green screen, which is interesting too.
Yeah, we won't worry about it. I'll just say a smooth goodbye to you, man, and hit end on the